Hey guys, welcome back to another commentary video. Before we get started, thank you so much everyone for all of the support. I want to open up my drink so that I have something to wet my throat as I'm talking for an hour. Thank you so much guys for all the support. Really appreciate it. It's really cool how the channel's growing. I think we're up to like 737 people at last look. So that's really cool. If you haven't already, don't forget that we have a Discord server. If you'd like to talk with me, suggest ideas, ask questions, just interact with me in general, I think it's pretty neat. So it would be a pleasure to have you along. If not, then don't worry. It's just an offer there for you if you would like. So today we have Nicky Ryan versus JT Torres. So Nicky Ryan over here versus JT Torres. And I believe that this is a pretty exciting match because it ends in a relatively unorthodox or not common way anymore. So let's get into it. You know, they're a bit of smaller guys, but they're like battle nuggets, aren't they? And so you see with people this size, look at JT, like that drop and latch is very, very quick. It's very quick. And so we've got this really good wrestling base from both of them. And you can see how they're kind of really respecting each other. And Nicky is a like really, really, really chill dude. Kind of reminds me of like a surfer. And you can see on his face, he's kind of a little worried, but also respectful, but also like confident. He's like the quintessential jiu-jitsu nerd, isn't he? That just studies the game and ends up as a secret monster while never telling anyone how good he is. You know. And so we've got this grip fighting, and I love this distance management between the two of them, because when you're with someone that's as like got such explosive movements, a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers like JT, leaving your feet too close is going to be a death sentence for the hand latching. And so I love this respect and distance management that I'm seeing from Nicky. And you can see that he's taking his time, much like his brother does. I also love this detail with that hand. If you notice, he's protecting the shoot by leaving his hand hovering low. If he lifts this hand up to try and reach with it, it opens up an opportunity for JT to dive in on those legs. And at this weight category, that happens pretty rapidly. And so we're controlling the wrist, we're controlling the top of the head. Just at some point, you have to grapple. You know, it is a grappling match, so you have to actually engage at some point. And so what we're seeing now is just two professionals feeling each other out, looking for openings, and then not risking too much. And you can see how like for example, when Nicky was grabbing JT stripped the grips. When JT tries to grab Nicky strips the grips, because it doesn't end up in his favor. Like they're both trying to make sure that they're fighting from advantage, or at least equal. And so right now, they're both relatively equal, and because the heads are connected, it's not as scary. Oh. Oh, that's gorgeous. So JT's left is like quite far forwards, and he's like forwards into his base, so he's heavy on that leg, and there's a massive lot of space and opening because this hand's not connected, right? And so Nicky does this really cool thing where even though he's on the outside of the arm, he's like pulling on the bicep forwards as he goes for like a single leg / fireman's carry. But the single leg pickup is really, really neat. JT doesn't panic and doesn't turn into him, instead just commits further forwards. And so like the angling is really nice. This is cool. So what a lot of people would do if they're JT in this position, as soon as this leg gets grabbed, they'll try and like turn towards the person so they can kick their leg backwards, but that's going into the grip. So if Nicky's got this hand around the leg, right, and this is his hand here and fingers, kicking the leg backwards goes into the loop of the leg, whereas going further forwards actually goes out of the loop. You can see, I'll try and pause that in time. Well, Alright. There we go. I missed it. It's too quick for me. It's too quick for me. So he just like plows through as Nicky's going for this beautiful step around. And then this is a really nice shoot and a really nice counter. That's very exciting. It's very exciting. And so you can see JT is like a little bit more, oh, okay, you can wrestle too at the moment. And so they're both respecting each other. It feels like Nicky's respecting JT because like it for these boys especially, I feel like it's a case of like, oh, okay, we're playing that game. All right, I'll shoot on you again, and then it like escalates, and so they're both being aware, and it looks like Nicky's backing down a little bit, like not backing down from the fight, but like not allowing opportunity for JT to counter shoot, you know, to prove a point. Oh, really good work. Really good work. So we're in this position where, again, that distance management of Nicky is really good. And you could see that JT had his hands tall. Watch. So you see how JT has got like the club in and he's controlling the wrist. All of this space down here is not defended at the moment. The only thing defending it is the distance between them. But Nicky obviously does a lot of wrestling, especially with Nicky Rod, you know, and so like he gets over the top of that wrist. This one, pay attention to this wrist here. JT is controlling it at the moment. Nicky gets over the top of it and shoots in, you know, because he angled his wrist forward. So he's already into like a monkey paw position. And he just plows straight through that control. And now you see how deep he is behind the legs, right? And so he tries to stand up with it, but it, like when someone's really donkey kicking their legs back, it's kind of hard on the shoulders. And so beautiful tackle attempt. Beautiful work, honestly. I would say that Nicky's better in this engagement, in this match. Like his skill level is clearly better than JT's at the moment. And so JT seems to really like this control over the wrist, and I'm not sure if that's like a Marcelo type control, but again, I liked the fact that when I said Nicky got over the top of it, I misspoke. What I meant is he rotated his hand to the inside, and that weakens the grip and allows him to shoot. And so we're into this really nice wrestling type of position now, where it's a little bit of back and forwards, and they're still both looking for openings. It's really cool. I love this. This arm here is one of my favorite things to do. What Nicky's doing is getting like a tie clinch behind the head and forcing the palm into the neck. And this ends up being like really good for drive-bys because he can step this leg forwards, hips rotate in with it as he rotates his shoulders in, and then leans backwards and heaves JT around the side. And then this arm, because it ends up popping off the head as you like leverage your head back around the corner as well, and then you can pull with your hands as you dance, and then you end up taking the back or tackling, you know, and that's a really cool grip, and you can have a lot of control over the head by pushing into the neck, and it's very difficult to deal with. Beautiful head movement by JT. Beautiful head movement. And you see how they're fighting on levels as well. So these guys, it's really cool how like JT's now down lower because it's harder to shoot in. So Nicky goes over the top to the head, so JT postures up. As soon as he postures up, he like bobs down and threatens a tackle. So Nicky has to let go of the hands, and the hands come down again. You can see And so like it's a really cool little back and forward where they're both showing a lot of respect to each other. And Nicky, I like what he's doing. He's just not afraid to go for the takedowns. And I think that beautiful wrestling. Beautiful wrestling. So let me finish that thought before, then we'll cover that. Nicky's not afraid to go for the takedowns because he's so confident and comfortable on his back on the ground that he doesn't mind the idea necessarily of it going wrong. Either that or he just doesn't actually believe it can go wrong for him, which is kind of what Nicky Ryan does. But it's very clear that it's what Nicky Rod does. Nicky Ryan here is very strategic with his play, but I love the fact that he's just going for it anyway and he shows no fear. A lot of the times you don't get takedowns because you hesitate, not because the other person does well. And so the fact that he's just really committing to it is really quite nice to see. And that was a beautiful arm drag. So what happened there is JT gets control over Nicky's right hand. So he like latches onto the wrist. This arm comes in behind the elbow and starts pulling it back across as he steps his foot in closer so he can then reach with the first hand down behind the leg. You can see. And he latches onto that single leg and turns the corner beautifully. And again, this defense is really nice. You see how Nicky here doesn't turn back into him, but rather turns away so that his knee points towards the ground. And this lets him kick the leg through. And then that little like awkward side shuffle at the very end, you see how he's kind of off balance, is because he's defending with the hand, the leg again, so that he can spin around the top and start facing. And so it's a really, really precise play by these guys. Inside foot trip attempt, nothing much comes of it. And the same idea as before with that tackle is really good, but it's very hard to tackle someone that has such a good work with a sprawl. So when you go to tackle someone, look at how wide this base is, and then JT is turning the hip in. Like his right hip is turning in, and so that makes it very, very difficult for Nicky here to finish this tackle. And especially when he's very nonchalant, he's like, "Nah, get off. It's not working." And so it's very difficult to finish that without ludicrous amounts of effort. Much more than these guys would be necessarily willing to put in at this moment in time. So this was really cool back and forward. Like they're both shooting. They're pretty equal, I think, in terms of skill, actually. I would still say that Nicky's better. That's my impression of watching this. And you can see how they're both shooting. And, both of these guys would be catching me and throwing me really comfortably with the skill level on display here. You can see immediately Nicky doesn't want to let JT have control over that head. So every single time JT grabs that head, he uses his hand to pour in and then up. And then like strips the grip, and it's really good. Oh, I liked that. Let me see that again. I love that. I love this understanding that JT has of this game, where jiu-jitsu, when you get to a certain level, kind of becomes like a what's annoying me, get rid of it. So what's annoying me right now, JT says, because I want to grab onto this leg that's light. What's annoying me and stopping me from doing that? This hand. Alright, I'm just going to get rid of it, so I'm just going to push it to the side. And then that's not really technical, that's just understanding jiu-jitsu. And then he shoots in, and you can see how he like controls the hip. So he's like, look at this position. If you had a snapshot of this in an art gallery, you'd be like, yeah, this guy's really off balance. He's going to go sitting down. But again, this is beautiful defense on the hand to control and mitigate the damage of pushing on the hip. pushing on the shoulder allows the leg to start coming out. And then again, like that, you see this time very clearly that that Nicky turned that knee to the ground. Again, I'm trying to pause it at the right time, but these guys are so quick. So slow it down, boys. I'm finding it hard to commentate. There you go. See how he turns this knee to the ground? It makes it very hard because the heel is meant to come up towards the bum, and then this knee is meant to go forwards. So if you turn the knee towards the ground, it makes it very easy to drag it forwards, and it makes it very easy to heel kick towards your bum, which makes it very hard to hold on to as a loop. If the knee is up towards the sky and the heel is towards the ground, the best you have is the heel going to the bum in an arc upwards, and then it's very difficult to get out, you know. And so beautiful attack, beautiful defense again. The level of technical jiu-jitsu on display here is outstanding. It's absolutely outstanding, and like this is why, for example, people say you move really well for a big guy, because they're talking about this type of movement when they talk about good jiu-jitsu. And the level of technical ability here on display is it's better than Gordon Ryan, you know, from both of these guys. These guys are both better than Gordon Ryan on a technical sense, at what they're doing, I should say, because there's more to technique and jiu-jitsu than just being able to shoot a double leg. But their ability to move with precision is really high, you know. Don't crucify me for my opinions. So I'm not sure what's going on. I think they might be getting penalties, but that's all right. Skip. I love that. One shoot, counter shoot, because there's opportunity. There's opportunity. Recognizing the situation that as JT's coming up gives Nicky an opportunity to shoot in is incredible jiu-jitsu. It's just incredible jiu-jitsu. And so this is a really cool little match already, and I don't know why they stopped it to give a disadvantage. Either that or it's judge's favor down the bottom here. Not actually sure what that means because I never bothered learning Flow Grappling's rules. But that's on me. So we've got 9 minutes 40 seconds left. Head snap downs, they're starting to sweat now, so it's going to get a little bit tricky. This is not that great a position for Nicky now, but he's turned this angle and he's like pushing with the hand. Don't know what type of arrow that was. He's pushing with the hand, and so like his head will pop out the back in a second, or JT will give up on it, and then honestly, fucking gorgeous. I have no idea what the fuck this position is, but I really like that takedown. I don't know what this is, but I'm here for it, boys. And one girl that watches my channel. Hey guys and lady, you know. This is really cool. So Nicky just sort of straight up fucking dives on it, and like holding on to this ankle and using his shoulder to flex the knee has a tendency to encourage this hip to drop towards the floor. And then making sure that JT can't get this leg back around the corner is very difficult. So the best JT has now is holding onto the hips, trying to get this leg free so that he can start fishing this hand in front of the head, and then start walking around to the back, because if this hand comes in front of the head, forcing Nicky's head to the right, with this leg being free around the back, this leg and this grip becomes weak, and eventually what will happen is Nicky will be forced to let go, especially if JT is using his right hand to get an underhook on one side. So again, this hand comes in the front, this back hand comes underneath as this leg goes around the top, and then you get a seatbelt grip with your chest on the back, your head's over here somewhere, and then Nicky's going to have to let go, and then that leg pops out, and then all of a sudden JT's in a very good spot. So that's the idea for JT, but Nicky catches the leg, and such a good idea. Like, it looks so dumb, but it's so smart, and it speaks to such a high level of understanding of what's going on. Actually incredible jiu-jitsu, because again, that this hand has to do something more than just control. So what tools do you have? And Nicky's hips are getting fucked over here, like they're getting like pulled, right? So he uses his legs to hold on to the ankle, so he can use his hands to hold on to the other leg and start making progress. And then all of a sudden, this group of JTs is now dead because the legs are doing the work holding on. If he pulls his own leg with him, and then the position doesn't change, and he's just wasting effort. And so now, all of a sudden, this leg is isolated, and there is actually toe hold attempts in there. But I don't think that's what Nicky's necessarily going for. But like, you can see this control. Again, the best thing that JT has now is like to let go and start stepping over the top and turning his whole body down and around the corner, which exposes his back for Nicky's chest. So he doesn't want to do that, but that's still like kind of the only way out, unless he can free this leg and draw it backwards. And so it's a difficult position to play, and there's knee bar attempts in here as well. So if Nicky like really starts drawing this knee backwards and flexing his hips in, he can start looking to knee bar, and he can start looking to toe hold. So this is kind of like, you can see on his face, he's like, I don't know where the fuck I am. I don't know what this is, but I know what this feels like. And it feels like I'm winning. And you can see how he's going for the knee bar attempt. You know, you can feel it. This is so dumb, and I'm here for it. It's so dumb, and I'm so here for it. Yeah, it's going to turn into like what Nicky wanted it to turn into. This heel is exposed of his, but if he can somehow get his left hand in front of the hip and let go with his right hand over the top, turns into, and get this heel over the top of JT's leg, turns into a leg drag. JT recognizes, well, actually, hang on, this one leg is in between both of mine. You can see the heel is exposed. There's nothing stopping me. The only thing keeping me here is Nicky's grip on the leg. I may as well just start attacking the heel. Can you see? And now all of a sudden it's Nicky that's in danger, because you can look at this position, and this is pretty intense position to be in. And so Nicky rolls the only way he can, and then all of a sudden he's getting heel hooked. No, he's getting threatened with a heel hook. Somehow manages to get this foot back in the way, which is pretty incredible stuff. And now he's defended everything nicely. And so he's got like a counter reap of his own going. It's a bit of an odd position. I don't think I've ever seen like a reap into a counter reap like this. And it's definitely a puzzle to figure out, you know. It's not really a standardized position, if that makes sense. And so I'm going to have to watch what these guys do to figure out the puzzle before I can tell you how to figure it out. Because what they would do is different to what I would do. Oh, that's tight. Yeah, now we're into like a proper reap type position, with a straight ankle lock, and Nicky's got a lot of leverage in behind that particular lock. So we do a backward roll. This foot is now caught, so let's try and break this down. All right. So we've got what? We've got one leg. Let's start from the beginning. So we got JT Torres's hips like this. His leg comes across the top and is caught in between. Nicky's hips are like so, comes over the top and through and in. The other one comes in underneath JT Torres's other hip, which is going in between Nicky's legs and over the top and down. So it's a very complex position to play. If Nicky can get a triangle lock, so this shin A, into the back of knee B, it locks everything tight, so this will come close. This is already locked in quite tight. It's a difficult position for JT to get out of, and what JT needs to be doing is really donkey kicking this one back to strain the lock so that he can get this one free and start making progress. Very difficult to do though when Nicky has this hand barring the knee, right? Barring across behind the knee. So Nicky starts attacking this far side leg because that's the only one that he really can attack at the moment. And as he's pulling it in, so he pulls it in, you can see that his knee gets further underneath JT's knee, which allows much more of this triangle lock to be accomplished. And he does this as he gets the backward roll. Because he brought that leg in, he now gets to latch onto the ankle. And there's not much in the way of threats for JT to exploit as his ankle's getting ripped on. His other leg is completely caught. Nicky takes his hand out, and he's securing the lock, so he'll be squeezing quite tight with this. The knees and everything are all locked into position, so JT has to be super careful with where he goes, and Nicky now has free rein to attack the ankle. And so from this position, JT's trying to free the legs, but because of where he's put his own foot, Nicky's still really controlling this, and he's got the reap going. His heels aren't actually exposed, there's no leverage, and he's still attacking that straight ankle lock. So JT really has to work to try and get out of this, but I feel like from the look on his face, he's not respecting the fact that the straight ankle lock is actually a thing. A lot of high-level guys forget that straight ankle locks are actually a thing, and they don't respect them. They don't fear them, and you shouldn't fear every submission. For example, you shouldn't fear a straight ankle lock as much as you fear a heel hook, but you should definitely still respect every single submission, because otherwise you get caught out. And so we're into this really weird type deal where JT recognizes the only chances he has is to bench press Nicky's knee into a knee bar. So if JT can leverage his foot forwards and use his own knee as the counter lever on Nicky's knee, he will end up knee barring Nicky at the moment. Unfortunately though, Nicky has a whole ass leg to start defending the hands. And then he gets that triangle lock again. As soon as he gets that triangle lock again, the leverage is on. The leverage is on here now. Yep. You can see. And Nicky, you can see JT here, his body language isn't hurried. He doesn't believe Nicky that this is on. He's not respecting it at all. And more fool him, I suppose, because look, he's just casually trying to play with the feet to unlock the position because he thinks he's not in danger, but he's in immense amounts of danger. And Nicky's not taking he's taking his time. He's not rushing. He's kind of like a coiled snake waiting to strike. And he's leading JT into this lobster pot where by the time the lid closes, so to speak, it's way too late to defend it. And you can see that this is when he starts leveraging, and that leg is going straight, and he's about to dislocate the ankle. And you see again, look on JT's face. It's completely unhurried. He's just fucking around with the feet, not respecting this at all, and so he gets caught with a straight ankle lock. And a couple of you guys that watch my videos that jumped in the Discord were asking me about straight ankle locks and whether or not you should respect them. And of course you should, because if you they're easier to defend nowadays than they are to attack. But again, if I don't respect my opponent and I let them sink in a rear naked before I start defending it, it's not going to go well for me, right? Whereas if I recognize the fact that it can happen despite how good I may or may not be at jiu-jitsu, and defend it appropriately at the beginning, or with more vigor, then you have less chances of getting subbed with it. And it's kind of one of those ones where everyone knows the theory of how to defend it, so no one attacks it because everyone knows it's easier to defend than it is to attack. Because no one attacks it, no one has practice at defending, and because no one has practice at defending, everyone forgets how to defend it, if that makes sense. So it's like a circular sort of story. It's like leg lock, heavy defense, no leg lock, attacks, leg locks, and it just keeps on going. And so I have a feeling straight ankle locks will come back into fashion for a bit after this, and then everyone will think, oh, actually, no, they're not that bad to defend, and that thus is the nature of the sport. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Very well done to Nicky Ryan with a pretty cool, convincing win. I mean, like that was such a retarded position that we saw, and I loved it. I'm 100% here for it. This is so dumb, but displayed such a high level of understanding of jiu-jitsu, and I absolutely loved it. JT came very close when he started attacking the heel, wherever that was. Yeah, came very close. But Nicky's got such good experience. He's very good at defending heel hooks. You know, his legs is his game, and so J2 tried to climb up and on top and got caught, and then from here the match is pretty well over. You know, so very well done to Nicky. Very deserved win. Very good performance by JT. Both these guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Again, if you want to join the Discord, links down below. If not, that's okay as well. I just like interacting with you guys. Anyway, have a good day, guys. Catch you next time.